Wake up, wake up, wake up. This is Imagine Me with Ingrid D. Wade, and my mission is to inspire, empower, implore you into claiming and reclaiming your God given purpose. Selah. Have you ever had those moments in your life where sometimes you avoid sitting in stuff? Those moments where life has thrown so many situations at you, and sometimes you want to ignore it. Just push it aside, deflect. When I'm talking about Selah, it's defined as taking a beat, taking a moment, breathe, sit in it, pause, settle down. Don't let your emotions dictate your behavior. Selah. Yes, I've had moments where situations have arisen in my life. Yes, where I didn't want to say lie, but God allows circumstances in our lives to evaluate, to put things in the right perspective, to allow you to see, to introspect, to evaluate what's serving, what's not self-serving, to align you to his will. When we look at Matthew 8:23 through 25, here we have a situation where Jesus told him to get on the boat. We're going on the other side to Galilee. Yes, Jesus told him to get in the boat. We're going to the other side, which means they're going to get there. He didn't say what was going to happen in the middle. He didn't let us know what's going to happen in between time. He said, this is your purpose. But he didn't tell us what we were going to endure to get to that space, to get to that place. But here, Peter, Paul, and all the disciples are on the boat. Now, mind you, they're professional fishermen. Many of them are. So they've seen turbulent winds and currents and different weather conditions. But this particular time, they get on the boat and Jesus is asleep on the bottom deck. And a turbulent windstorm arose so badly that it terrified most of these professional fishermen. So much so that it provoked the waves to start rushing water into the boat to where it was overflowing, to the point where they were terrified. Jesus is sleeping, and this is what they're dealing with. He's still present. He's still there. But he allowed them to go through circumstances and situations. But he was there. And they're yelling, Jesus, don't you care about us? We're going to perish. We're going to die. Jesus gets up from his sleep and he goes where they are. And he asked them, where's your faith? What, haven't I shown myself to you? Haven't I showed you my love? Showed you that I'm a provider? Showed you that I am the creator of heaven and earth and under the sea? Haven't I shown you who I am? Remember when I healed the man that had leprosy? A contagious disease that caused him to be outcast from his community? Remember, disciples? Remember what I did and who I am? Remember when the commander, an elite commander, came running to me and he said, heal my servant. He's paralyzed in horrific pain. Remember? And he didn't even say, he said, just speak a word. Selah, just speak a word. And if you say it, It will be done. And his servant was healed. Peter, Peter, Peter. Remember we was chilling at your house? And your mother-in-law was sick with a fever? And I healed her. Remember? Remember that situation? Selah. Jesus, the creator, the sovereign God, the almighty God, the maker of all things, just spoke to the storm and said, peace, be still. He's omniscient. He knew that storm was going to rise. We got to know that some things that are brought in our lives is not demonic. Some things God allows us to experience because the place we're in is not where he called us to be, or the place we're in, he wants to draw us close because he's about intimacy and relationship. Selah. I'm going to be so transparent and so honest with you today. I struggle with this. My son can attest to, I probably did about 7 or 8 takes on this. Not talking about earlier part of the week, how I was struggling with the transparency and the vulnerability. Not because I cared about what you think. It's because I'm a private person. So me even doing this, it's his will. But back in 2019, I had asked my ex-husband for a divorce. And I never dreamed that I would go through and experience all the things that I experienced. I'm talking about being called, my character being assassinated. I'm talking about withholding money in the court and delaying the process because we were married 30 years and you didn't want to pay me a dime. I'm talking about the things that were shared with my children and to the community and over the pulpit. I'm talking about how it was talked about in the community, the hurtful things that people thought and said about me, even though I've consistently showed up in their lives as my true self, my true imperfect self. Oh, it was so painful. I'm telling you, there's days. You ask me how I get here, how I got here. I suffered silently. Many wet pillows. The heartache. The pain. There's days that I question my existence. Why? Why am I going through this? Why is this happening to you? What did I do to deserve all this? Selah. It was a very dark time. And like the disciples, I was terrified. I didn't know, really, when my sons came home from school, how I was going to provide. Now, remind you, the house is gone. I'm disabled. How am I going to be able to pay? How am I going to be able to provide a roof over my head? And then on top of it, I'm being destroyed emotionally, not even thinking about, I'm the center person. I am the focus of who my children are coming to, my grandchild. So if you destroy me, what's going to happen to your children? I'm talking about me, my truth, my pain, my suffering. Selah. I am telling you, just like the disciples, I was fearing my outcome. Yes, I know he's been a faithful God. Ooh, he's shown up for me in so many ways. Oh God, I thank him for his faithfulness when I was faithless. And trust me, there's days where I was faithless. There's days where it took everything for me to walk out the door, feeling ashamed and embarrassed because of what somebody's doing to me. That's not my shame. That's not my pain. And someone that I care about deeply had to remind me of that. The heartaches and the things that I can never share with my children, I carry that with me. Selah, as I'm trying to manage their emotions. You gotta remember, not only was the marriage ending, I'm walking away. We're walking away from a church that we first walked into for the first time. Selah. I'm talking about friends, people that I've counseled and been there for. Now where are they? Some were close to me trying to get with him. Later on, found out some of the rumors that was told about a specific incident was true. Selah. I'm talking about my truth, my pain. I'm talking about a story to help you come out, to let you know that if he brought me out, he can bring you out too. Yeah, I was that person that was stuck. I was that person in suffering, in sorrow. So much so that my heart ached. So much so if you could see my heart, it was just crying. Not crying because of what I lost. I asked for it. It's not what was done to me. It was how. After 30 years, you can disrespect me on the level that you did and allow others to disrespect me. Put stuff out there that you know is not even my essence. Selah. I'm sharing with you. God has provoked me to share this with you because somebody needs to know that you can come out. That boat, that chaos around you where siblings, sons, daughters, finances, everything around you is in chaos and your boat is filling up. He was there. He was always there. But he allowed it. He allowed the disciples to endure that storm because he wanted to bring them close. He wanted to see where you were. Where I was dimming my own light to allow somebody else to shine was not what he called me to be. It called me to do. Who I was a shell of the person that he created me to be. So that had to be destroyed. Because I wasn't living in my truth, my calling, my pre-designed life that he called me into. And it came at a cost. Freedom costs. It costs. It cost me something. It cost me something. It cost me something. So I am unapologetically on this podcast speaking my truth because it cost me something. I suffered to get here. I suffered to reclaim who he created me to be. Selah. Because I needed to take a Selah to reflect, to remind myself of who he called me to be. Remind me of the purpose and the plans that he had for my life outside of being a first lady, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and all those other adjectives that you want to associate with a woman. That storm, that chaos that came on with the disciples, that windstorm that created the flooding and the overflow of water in the boat, that wasn't there to destroy them. Everything that I endured wasn't meant to destroy me. It was meant to destroy what I wasn't supposed to be, what I was living in, what I was living out for other people. And all he wanted was more intimacy, more relationship, more trust. He didn't shame those disciples. He didn't do that to shame me, to embarrass me. But he allowed it because if that's going to get me where I need to be, he allowed it. Selah. Selah. I am a living witness. It doesn't matter what confusion, what chaos, what hurt, what betrayal, what heartache. Ooh, Selah comes in your life. Just like Jesus was on the boat with them, he's always been on the boat with me. And I can most certainly tell you that it was worth every pain, every tear that I cried, every sleepless night. It was worth it. The heartache, the pain, it was worth it. To walk in me, to be free in me, the woman of God that he created unapologetically. Selah. You want to know how I came out? How I'm still climbing out? I'm holding on. I am holding on. In days, I have to say, Lord, help my unbelief, because there's still obstacles and circumstances that have come my way when I counted on money that was supposed to be mine from stocks and it was stolen from me. I'm talking about I was betrayed on so many levels. But yet I am so grateful. I am so grateful because had it not been for that relationship that I admired, it wouldn't have motivated me to seek him for myself. And yes, all you people who did me wrong, who was clapping when I was down and even threw a little sneak kick or sneak punch or sneak jab, you won. You won. You hurt me. You succeeded in hurting me. Yes, you did. But you know what? I want the ultimate prize. The ultimate reward. I got Jesus. I have an everlasting King. I'm going to live forever with him. So my light afflictions is not to be compared to what he has, to his glory, for the life that he intended me to live. You know what helped me to hold on? Because I wanted my children and my grandchildren to know that a person falling, bad behavior outside the will of God is not a reflection of God. I wanted them to know that God is still faithful. And it wasn't God that hurt them. It wasn't God who let them down or disappointed them. That he is who he is. But man, that's a whole nother story. He was on the boat then. He's on my boat now. And he will forever be on my boat because he's faithful. Say, I came out. You can come out too. Selah. Hold on. Hold on. Selah. In this story, I'm going to end it with this. Not only did I achieve my master's degree, not getting less than an A-, in everything that I was going through at that time, my children graduated from college. My grandson succeeded in his studies. The house that I lost, the Lord blessed me with a brand new condo that no one ever lived in. I'm not boasting in me. I am nothing without him. I'm boasting in him. Say